Welcome to Am I Famous Yet? Memoir of a Working Class Rock Star. This is chapter 20 called Catapulco. We got hired to play with Gloria Gaynor in Acapulco, Mexico at a private party being thrown at some billionaire's crib. You know, as one does. Their crib was way up on top of a mountain on a sharp ridge overlooking the beautiful bay and Pacific Ocean. Billionaires like to build up high. It assists them in looking down on people. When we arrived at the venue for soundcheck, we were greeted with a disturbing sight. They had built a stage above the large outdoor patio at the home. But because this was the very top of the mountain, the patio was a long, thin strip of concrete along the ridgetop. The stage was twice as wide as the narrow patio. Half of it was literally suspended in mid-air atop metal trusses that ran back at a 45-degree angle toward the hillside. Half of the stage was about 6 feet above the patio. The other half was about 40 feet above the street below, which then proceeded to wind down the roughly 1,000-foot-high mountain to the sea. It looked scary as hell. We had to put an 11-piece band with all of our gear up on this temporary structure and then proceed to jump up and down on it while performing an animated disco show. You know, as one does. It seemed sturdy, but at the same time, a little bouncy. Also, construction and building codes in Mexico are not exactly what we're used to in the United States. The infrastructure of the entire country feels a little suspect, even roads and sidewalks, which are permanent structures on level ground. A temporary structure suspended in space off the top of a mountain inspired no confidence in us whatsoever. One by one, we went up on deck. We all test bounced in place just to feel how much give the platform seemed to have. Eventually, we all got loaded in and finished our sound check. Normally, I'm fairly active on stage. It's very difficult for me to stand completely still, especially while playing dance music. I like to bop around and feel the rhythm with my whole body. It's more fun that way. On this particular platform, I was still like a mannequin. We all were. We were taking no chances. None of us wanted to be the straw that broke the camel's back. We also all independently mapped out personal escape routes for ourselves should we feel this structure beginning to topple. Assisting one's fellow compatriots be damned. It would be every woman for herself. The half of the band who were standing from where the drums were center stage to the left side of the stage were over a concrete patio. In a disaster, they might fall only 6 feet. Besides spraining an ankle or two, the horn players and the keyboard player would live to play again. The other half of the band, who were standing from the drums to the right side of the stage, including myself, were suspended 40 feet above the nearest landing spot. The guitarist, the background singers, and myself had a rough fall ahead of us should anything go awry. The drummer was sitting right in the middle, so he could potentially fall either way. I decided that my best escape route would be to run at full speed all the way across the stage at the first sign of trouble. My plan was to jump off the keyboard player's side and hopefully fall only a few feet. But that's when uninformed thoughts of engineering and geometry started to bubble in my head. My plan wouldn't work. The way the structure was built, if it started to fall, the drummer would be sitting right in about the middle of what would then become a giant seesaw. We, the half of the band on the low end of the seesaw, would surely fall 40 feet to certain maiming and our likely deaths. The keyboard player and the horn players, who would now be on the high end of the seesaw, would be launched as if from a catapult. I imagined that it would send them flying through the air and possibly hurtling down 1,000 feet all the way to Acapulco Bay. A catapult in Acapulco? We were performing on Catapulco. I'm not sure which half of the band was better off, but I knew for sure which half of the band that I hoped the YouTube clips would capture in the unfortunate eventuality of a disaster. Billionaires like to hire big music stars to come play at their swanky parties to demonstrate to their guests how cool they are, even though the guests just end up standing there the entire night staring at the star with their arms folded. That's what happened in this case. An entire patio full of rich people seemed genuinely inconvenienced to have been made to sit through an interruption in their enjoyment of a DJ playing loud 2010 techno dance music. They were forced instead to endure an entire concert of some lady whom they didn't even seem to know except for the last song on her show, singing 1970s disco dance music. As soon as we finished, they went happily back to their unka dancing, relieved that we were finally done. With shaking knees, we descended the stairs down from the catapult stage and beat a hasty retreat back to our sea-level hotel. Even though it felt like we possibly risked our lives for naught, we lived to play disco music another day.